This video is sponsored by DecalWorks, offering 10% off all graphics to retail customers. Use the promo code RX10 at decalmx.com to receive 10% off your graphics.
How's it going? Welcome to another Racer X garage build. You're looking at a 2023 RM-Z450. That's right, Suzuki RM Army. It is alive and well. I am Kris Keefer. Ryan Pursley to next to me right here. This is his machine. We had a 22. Suzuki needed that back, so we rolled it over to the 23. Nothing has changed. So yes, it is a 2023. You haven't even seen the 2023 intro here at Racer X, but hey, guess what? Nothing's changed. You can go back to probably 2018 and it's the same bike. But guess what? $49.99. $4,999 can buy you a brand new 450. I just looked this up the other day. Many dealers in Southern California are blowing out 2022 Suzukis for $5,000. You can get yourself a brand new bike for $5,000. That's unheard of.
That's amazing.
It's insane.
Amazing.
So if you guys are looking to get a brand new bike and you're thinking, I don't know if I can afford it, look it. There is a lot of reasons why you should go to an RM-Z450. We're going to go over some of those reasons today. But first things first, Ryan, what made you get a Suzuki? And you've ridden Suzukis before and you like them.
I have, yeah. So, I mean, we have a great relationship with Suzuki. The new 23s come with Throttle Syndicate graphics on them. We had one of these bikes last year. Really didn't do much to it, you know, just set suspension a little bit. And I would ride it from time to time, and every time I rode it, I was just kind of blown away. Like, wow, this thing's pretty good, you know. And I'd let some of my buddies ride it, and they'd come in and be like, dang, this thing's pretty good. So, you know, I've talked to Mitch about it a little bit and stuff, and like, man, and everybody said, you know, you can make these things a really good motorcycle. So, you know, I reached out to you. I said, hey, let's kind of build this, you know, kind of on a budget, nothing super crazy, but let's see how good we can make this bike. So that's kind of where this ended up.
So before we started rolling the cameras, I have a buddy that's with me here today. He has a Honda CRF 450 Works Edition, and he spent almost $15,000 on it. So, and he was like, man, you spent $5,000 on a bike, and the mods that we did here, so you're maybe looking close to what I spent on a bike. And I look at him, I go, no, right. I think it's much less than that still. So with the mods, tell us what you did here. We have engine mods, obviously muffler, and some
of the main things, you know, I went to Mitch at Pro Circuit. You know, they have the pipe, they have the high compression piston. Mitch cleaned up the head a little bit, but nothing crazy. Like you could probably get away without doing the head and just do the high compression piston. Definitely the shock linkage. I mean, that seems to be the big fix on these things, is putting the linkage on, and Pro Circuit has that. I had them set up the suspension for you for the test so we could try this out. One thing I wanted to do, with me being 6'3", is open this thing up a little bit.
Yep.
So Raptor sent me the 5 millimeter lower pegs.
And 10 back.
10 back, yeah.
Yep.
So it makes it a little better for my size 12 foot. Also, a bunch of stuff on this bike is part of the RM Army, people that sponsor through the RM Army. So Mika Metals, they helped us out with the bars and the sprockets and stuff. I really wanted to try the FCP motor mounts, because I heard that really softens up and makes things a lot better. But nothing too crazy. Stock wheels, a Churby's plastic, you know, our graphics and seat cover, and that's basically about it. You know, Hinson gave us some cool goodies. Works connection with the nice clutch perch on here. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm really excited to see how it is when you ride it. And then we also have the KYB shock for you to try, which everybody says makes quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, so me and Ryan were talking as well, and you can buy a brand new KYB shock for this bike for $400.
$400, yeah.
So if you're not happy with the show of BFRC, we're going to try to get that dialed in today and talk to you guys about that. But I've had some experience with that shock. It's kind of a nightmare for me to dial in, which is the BFRC reaction on the track is I can drive through bumps on throttle pretty good, but anything off throttle, I have a tendency to the bike always kind of like pushing and doing some weird things. So we'll go back and try the KYB shock and do a little back-to-back. But this build is more about, hey, you guys over there can buy a brand new bike, throw some nice looking parts on it, make it run a little bit better, make it handle a little bit better, and you're still at a lower price point than you can with some of these brand new other colored machines. So I really want to drive home the Suzuki brand. Like, people say, oh, it's a kickstart. Look, we've been kickstarting bikes for how long?
And it starts easy.
And I feel like and maybe this is overstepping the boundaries a little bit, but if you can't kick your motorcycle, start it, maybe you should not be riding a motorcycle.
Yeah. I was thinking about with straight,
unless you're dual sporting or something like that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I was thinking about with straight rhythm how Marvin won on the electric start 2-stroke.
Yeah.
So does that mean other 2-strokes suck now because they're kickstart?
Right. So I think it's fine. You can still kickstart your bike. Look, I think Suzuki is going to be moving to a different platform in 2024. So if you guys are freaking out, you don't want a 2018 motorcycle, Suzuki probably will be updating their bikes in 24, so calm down. But I'm going to go take this bike right now, the hills of Glen Helen, and give you guys a real world feel. I've been on a lot of different bikes, 2023 models, and just tell you guys how good it is. How far away is it from these new bikes that I've been riding? Is it as good? Is it terrible? We're going to break this all down with Ryan here shortly, so stay tuned. All right, guys, just wrapped it up here at Glen Helen Raceway on the 2023 RM-Z450. Garage build here. It's a special Throttle Syndicate edition Suzuki RM-Z450. So, first things first, a lot of you guys email me or the YouTube comments that I see. Why do I want to get a Suzuki? It's a 2018. It has a Kickstarter. It's old technology. What's the need to get an RM-Z450? So here's a couple of reasons why. For me, even if it's a 2018 technology, that's still plenty good enough for my level of riding. So I feel like if it's plenty good enough for my level of riding, where I can ride at a decent level, I feel like that is good for 90% of you consumers out there. So now we're there, like, okay, this bike is good enough for me. Yes, I got to use my right leg a little bit. I got to kickstart this bike. No big deal. I'm still capable of doing that. I still can kickstart a bike. As you guys can see, it was one kick. One. Takes about 1 second to fire this machine up and then go enjoy yourself riding. Number 3, $5,000. Look, I feel like I don't make a lot of money. I live in Southern California. It's expensive as you know what here to live. So for $5,000, I can buy a new bike, even though it's 2018 technology. I'm just waiting for all these comments, right? So I'm just gonna bash them down while I can. $5,000, a great bike. People talk trash on reliability from Suzuki, but honestly, it's some of the most reliable bikes that I've had in my shop. I've had every color in my shop, and I've had some of the least amount of problems with the yellow machine. Granted, 60, 70 hours, haven't really put that much time on them in the considering all the other brands of bikes that I put over 100 hours on, but 70 hours, same top end, same crank, never checked the valves, and just changed the oil, the air filter, and rode it. To me, that's a win-win for $5,000. Maybe you'll never even reach 70 hours on your motorcycle. You're a weekend warrior. So for me, a lot of great reasons why you guys should think about RM Army and the reasons why you can enjoy yourself on two wheels on a yellow machine. Now, specifically with this bike, the guys over at Suzuki do a great job baseline machine. I'm not a huge fan of the Showa BFRC shock. What this thing does on acceleration, it follows the ground really well. So the action of the shock is really fast moving. So for example, Glen Helen's really choppy and fast. So acceleration, you'll see this wheel moving a lot. You'll see my rear end moving a lot. And what that does is follows the ground well, gives me good rear wheel traction. Some of the slow-mo that Spencer got of me, you might be able to see my rear end kick up or force that rear end to the fork off throttle. This is the negative effect from this kind of shock. So Pro Circuit did some work, and I don't even know what they did, but I can tell you what, there is less pitching with this suspension. I still get that nice rear wheel traction that I need here at Glen Helen, and it's just a better balanced motorcycle. So for me, I'm in $5,000 for the bike, maybe another $1,000 to $1,500 for suspension. I got a nice looking Tie 6 Pro Circuit exhaust that'll give me some more pulling power, because in stock form, this motor's pretty smooth, kind of lethargic down low, and then pulls decent up top, but nothing really exciting. It's a very user-friendly motorcycle, but if you're looking for something more exciting, this pipe will wake that up and give you some more mid-range. So it sounds more racy, more throaty. Ryan took the insert out. I recommend leaving the insert in to get a little bit more rear wheel connection. The engine work that Mitch did, although not much, cleaned up the head, high compression piston, gave some more bottom end excitement. Ryan went to the white coupler, which I think is too lean. I would like to put the stock coupler back in. That'll kind of open up some more mid-range power. So overall, I get a better, shouldn't say better, you do get a better, exciting, more friendly engine from what the mods that they've done. So now we're still in maybe $8,000. So we're under 10K for a bike that's faster, usable, and fairly good in the chassis area. And I say fairly good because this chassis is a little bit stiff-natured. So if you're a larger guy, over 200 pounds, you might not notice it as much as, I'm just all DNR. If you guys know what DNR is, research that. You guys will know what that is, but there's not a lot to me right now. So 170 pounds, these FCP mounts do work. I'm really hard on engine mounts, guys, but there are a few bikes that these mounts work on these bikes. So Suzuki, Kawasaki, and Honda, these mounts work really good, because Kawasaki, I would like a little bit more rigidity from that frame. With the Honda and the Suzuki, I want less rigidity feel, and these mounts provide that, give me some more comfort. Cornering, this bike is still one of the better cornering machines. Maybe not as good as a Honda or a brand new 2023 YZ450, but again, we're at a lower price point and it turns really good. You guys can watch the video, no problem following a rut. And just overall, very fun machine, guys. Look, it is the best Suzuki that I've ridden. I just rode a Twisted T HEP Suzuki, full race motor. That was a great bike. Not as good as that bike, but man, it's not that far off. And this is a common man machine, a blue collar working guy type of machine, or woman. But for me, very fun, easy to ride. I had a great time. So give this Suzuki a chance if you guys are looking to buy a new bike. 2023, no changes. But I feel like there is a market for this type of bike, because there are some people out there that do want to ride that don't have $15,000. And the Suzuki is just fine for those type of people. If you guys got questions about a Suzuki, you can hit me up, Kris at KeeferInkTesting.com. I'm happy to answer them for you. And kudos to Ryan, all the guys at Pro Circuit, Works Connection, Mika, just to put this bike together. Dunlop, again, not an extravagant build, but it gets down to business. That's what I like. That's what I'm about. So riding dirt bikes, having a good time. Stay tuned for more RacerX online garage builds. You can go to our website for all the race action, or if you want to subscribe, 12 issues, $30, and get some content within those pages that you can't online. So that's fun as well. Don't forget, we'll be back next month with another garage build. So stick around. See you later.